Good afternoon, HMS Bobcats. Mr. Flato here. Welcome back to another great week. The Helena Middle School. Hope everybody had a restful, awesome weekend and is ready to be back and be a learner. Today's Bob lesson, arguably the most important Bob lesson of the year. Matter of fact, we feel so strongly about this Bob lesson that a year ago, Miss Gluckert and I, other adults at Helena Middle School, decided to go into the PE classes and teach this in person and talk about this in person and have important conversations in person, answer important questions in person, better understand this in person from the student and adult perspective. Today's Bob lesson is talking about stop, walk, and talk. Why stop, walk, and talk is so important. We live in a world where we all depend on one another, literally for survival, if you think about it, on the most ground level of things. And so much of how our day goes is dependent on being respectful to one another. And when we are faced with those moments where we face disrespect from other people, how do we handle that? How do we handle that in a way that communicates self-respect and exercises self-respect? So not going to get a whole lot more into it because I'm excited to have those conversations in person here coming up. Hope you all enjoy this. This will be kind of a preview, and then we will really hit it home and have some great conversations, I hope, here in the coming days in your PE classrooms.
This week at HMS. Let's be safe, let's be responsible, let's be respectful, and let's be a learner. All right, for those of you that weren't taught stop, walk, and talk at elementary school that they went to, because we all come from a lot of different elementary schools, I'm going to tell you a little bit quickly about how this works. Okay, the first is stop. If you are involved in a situation that makes you uncomfortable, you need to remove yourself from the setting, tell the person or persons that is being disrespectful to you to stop. And we want to do this calmly, and we want to do this strongly. Now, some of you may have been taught the stop sign in elementary school, and I get it, we're in middle school right now. We don't use the stop sign, but it is important to look that person in the eye and calmly and strongly and in a serious tone let them know stop. I do not like that behavior. I do not like what is going on. I would like it to stop. Now, there's more than one way to say stop. Find a way that is genuine and authentic to you and your personality and how it is. You can say, hey, I don't appreciate that behavior. Please stop. Or what you are doing is really bothering me. Please stop. Or how about, please stop that. I don't appreciate being disrespected. Or please don't disrespect me like that. Or, you know what, I'm not cool with you doing whatever that behavior is. I'd appreciate being treated with more respect than that. Or when you do that behavior, that really bothers me. Please stop. The important thing is to find a way that fits your personality and find a way that is natural and works for you. All right, so we've told them to stop. The second step is to walk away. When you walk away calmly. Remove the attention that the disrespect needs in order to continue, and show them with your actions, that you are not appreciating what is going on. Many times this diffuses the situation. Also, it shows that you're doing your part by walking away from the disrespect. If that person follows you, then we're going to be on to step number 3. Previous slide, I mentioned walking away calmly. What does that mean? When you walk away calmly, you are choosing to disengage from the situation. Many times when we stay engaged to the situation, it's hard for that fire to burn out. When we walk away, you're not being disrespectful to yourself in response to the other student's disrespect. And a lot of times you may be tempted to have two wrongs making a right, or sticking up for yourself in a disrespectful manner. Then both parties are in trouble. Also, by walking away calmly, you're not encouraging other students to be disrespectful to the student who was disrespectful to you. Two wrongs don't make a right, and we're not trying to have an eye for an eye situation here at the Helena Middle School. So, we've told that person to stop. We have disengaged and walked away. And either one of two things are happening. That person is following us and still disrespecting us, or the disrespect is happening over and over again. That's when we talk. When we talk to a responsible adult, an adult you trust, and we get help from that responsible adult. So, who are responsible adults? Well, we've got a school full of teachers. If this happens in a classroom, a teacher would be a great person to talk to. If this happens at recess or in the cafeteria, playground staff might be a great person to speak with. And then, of course, the counselors. The cool thing about talking to the counselors are we're especially trained to mediate and work through situations to get all parties back on the right tracks. Sometimes Interpersonal issues come up when you are in school, and part of the education in that situation becomes sitting down with a third party and airing our grievances and getting on track with another person so that we can move on with our lives. Counselors also work to solve problems before they escalate into punitive situations. A lot of times we will step in, we will figure out what's going on, and we will try to come some sort of solution before it ends up in a problematic, punitive Mr. Boyle, Mr. McKay office situation. All right, so what's the difference between talking versus tattling? Because I know a lot of you, when you tell an adult, you feel like you're tattling. Well, talking is when you have tried to solve the problem yourself and you have used stop and you have walked away first. Tattling is when you do not use stop, you do not walk away, you go directly to reporting it to an adult. Tattling is when your goal is to get the other person in trouble. That's why stop, walk, and talk goes in that order. We want to let that other person know that, hey, we're not appreciating it and I'm going to remove myself from the situation. At that point, if that other person follows, you have done your part and it's time to get an adult involved. That's not tattling as well because we're working to problem solve. Maybe that other person that is disrespecting is having a bad day. If it repeatedly comes, then we make a decision on whether we need to take the next step. So I hope you guys know the difference between tattling and talking. All right, so you've told them to stop. You've walked away. You've told an adult. Here's what you can expect when you talk to an adult. The adult will ask you what the problem is. They will say, did you tell that person to stop? They will then ask if you calmly walked away. If you haven't done these steps first, the adult is going to ask you to do that. So make sure when we talk to an adult that we let them know what the problem is and we let them know, hey, I have told that person to stop, I've told that person to walk away, and now I'm talking to you. I know it's hard for a lot of you to report the problem to a responsible adult. Why is it so hard? Many incidents of disrespect are not reported, in spite of the fact that the research shows that reporting is the most effective tool for actually getting problem behavior to stop. When you fail to report continuing disrespectful behavior, that person often continues to disrespect other people. And so when you could have taken care of it, now other people are involved. Think of it as a forest fire. Instead of being put out when it was small and manageable, it grows and grows and grows and affects many more people in our school. And we don't want our school to become a place where our culture is we let disrespect happen. So by reporting and by using stop, walk, and talk, you're doing your part to keep disrespectful behavior at a minimum. All right, one important warning or one important caveat is if there's danger, if somebody is in imminent danger, go directly to a responsible adult. Don't use stop, walk, and talk. If there's going to be a fight, there's going to be something where somebody could get in serious injury or serious danger, go directly to an adult. That's a very important caveat of stop, walk, and talk. But let's talk about if you are the person that is being asked to stop. Whether you agree with it or not, let's take a deep breath. Okay, maybe that other person is having a bad day. Maybe that other person is perceiving what is going on differently than what you think you are doing. Go on with your day and let it go. Do your part to help de-escalate the situation so that both parties can move forward. It's when we fail to de-escalate is when most of the problems happen. What to expect if you don't stop and if you continue to treat others with disrespect. First, you can expect an adult to intervene and help solve the problem. I mentioned before, a lot of times that's a teacher. If you don't participate in the problem-solving process, you can expect discipline consequences because being disrespectful at HMS is taken very seriously. We don't want kids down in Mr. Boyle's office. We don't want kids to be getting in trouble, and we don't expect kids to be perfect, but we do expect kids to try their best to be respectful and to follow stop, walk, and talk. And if you are part of the problem, you participate in part of the... All right, and that brings us to this week's quote of the week, which comes from Mahatma Gandhi. They cannot take away your self-respect if we do not give it to them. I think self-respect is probably the most important respect out of them all because you need to realize, each and every one of us needs to realize the value that we have as individuals. And so much of everything, especially at this age, starts with having a healthy level of self-respect and knowing that you are somebody that deserves respect and deserves that from other people.
That brings us to this week's Jelly Bean Question of the Week winners, who are Eugene Simmons, Samuel Livingston Thomas, Mary Amman, Caitlin Lockett and Maximus Murray. The answer to last week's Jelly Bean question of the week was a bed. So for some of you that are new, here's how this works. I just take the first 5 correct answers that happen in the box. Sometimes it's less than 5 if they're hard. Sometimes it's just 5 and there's many correct answers. So if you didn't win this time and you had the correct answer, keep trying. All right, this week's Jelly Bean question of the week. What has to be broken before you can use it? That doesn't make any sense, but maybe somebody out there can make sense of it. If you think you know, submit your answer. Make sure your first and last name is on it so I know who you are and I can give you credit. All right, Bobcats, let's be especially kind and respectful to one another this week and always, and let's make it a great week.